Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connects Marble League. Today we have the 6th event of the tournament. We have Balancing, and the only events not to include any Connects parts at all. 4 marbles on the team will roll down that ramp there and try to get down as far as they can to the end. The most points being there. If you finish, that will net you 45 total points. All the points of them, each marble will be added together to see how much they get. There you can see the standings from the last event. The cardboard cutouts still hold a nice lead, but the Scarlet Sins are making their way up. Now, first up, we have the Necroman Knights. Down they come. It's going to be pretty even there. Looks like it's going to be a pretty decent run. No finishes for the Necroman Knights, but all the marbles seem to get at least a bit far down. There's the first off, second, third, fourth, and how will they end with a nice 123. That's going to set the benchmark score. Second up, we've got the Locust Plag. Down they come. That's one going out very far. Will that one finish? Just barely not. We had a few early finishes, but 2 getting quite far down. There's the first off and the second, but those 2 marbles, they got very far, and they're going to bump that score all the way up to 138. That's 15 more than the Necroman Knights. They will take the current lead. Next up, Scarland SS, currently second in the standings. How will they do here? Not very well. One marble on the left there, they seemed to do quite well, but the rest veered off to the right quite early, Quite early, those 2 marbles veer off to the right, and that's only going to be a 111, that's third place so far out of the 3 teams that have run. The Revolutionaries, they are up next. How will they do? And that's gone terribly. Oh, this one marble do, they got quite far down. That last marble did, but the rest, that was all out of sorts, complete chaos there. For the Revolutionaries, this one marble, let's see if they can bump their score up a bit. It's only going to be a 98, not even 100 points for the Revolutionaries. Not a good score. Next up, the Ice Angels. How will this team do? And that's not very good at all. That one marble there didn't even seem to get past that last dark block. Let's have a look. They veered off on both sides, but just did not go well at all. It's only going to be 93, and that puts them currently 5 out of 5. Fiery Opals now. How will this team do? Down at that kind, the first mob is going very far. They're going to finish. Will get any others just barely nuts. But that's going to look like a pretty good score for the Fiery Opals. Very good, I may even say. That first marble, they fell off around that dark block. That marble did very well to finish. What's the score going to be? 150 for the Fiery Opals. That is a lovely score. That puts them squarely in first place. Kidden Castle, this team is up next. How will they do? And they've, similar to the Ice Angels, honestly, seemed to go with a strategy of putting 2 on each side, but again, did not go well. That's only going to be 95, puts them 6th out of the 7 teams that have run. And at the halfway point, we have the Surface Striders. What can this team do? First mob's going to be quite far. I'll have one veer off to the right. That one's going to finish, though. That last one seemed to run out of speed, couldn't finish. But with one finish, so this is going to be pretty short score. That second marble veered off quickly. Those third and fourth marbles seem to run out of speed, but that first marble did very well to finish. What will the score be? 135, going to put them in 3rd place currently, just behind the Locust Plag. Speaking of which, we see the current standings here at the halfway point. Fiery Opals squarely on top with that 150, all the way down to the Ice Angels with that paltry 93 down there in 8th place currently. Moving on, we have the Valiant Velocity. How will this team do? Seem to go quite far. 2 fall off, 1 falls off there. The last one will also veer off to the right. Looks like it's going to be a pretty decent score. All those marbles at least getting past the first few dark blocks, getting past those last 2 there. What will the score be? 118, pretty decent score, going to lock them in at 5th place. The Mossy Mice, this team has not been doing very well so far. What can they do in this event? Since the first 2 are going, well, can they get to the end? Yes, they can. 2 finishes for the Mossy Mice. Will that be enough to beat the Fiery Opals? I don't know. Those 2 veered off to the right pretty early, but these first 2, can they do it? No, they can't, just barely. 5 points below the Fiery Opals, puts them in 2nd place currently. Graveyard Ghouls. How will this team do? They've been doing pretty well so far, but that has not gone well. 3 marbles falling off pretty quickly. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. That last one seemed to get pretty far up, but that score is not going to be very good. Yes, only a 97 for the Graveyard Ghouls, puts them in 9th place. Exoplanets, the team is currently in last. What can they do in this event? That's very good so far. Down the beam, getting it 1 finisher, the rest fall off. but they've all fallen very far down. Will that be enough to beat the Fiery Opals? It's going to be pretty close, I think. This team doing very well. All their marbles getting past all those dark blocks. One gets to the end. The last two can't hold, but that's going to be a 158 for the Exoplanets, and that's going to give them the win over the Fiery Opals, currently in first place. Antarctics next up. Can they try and beat the Exoplanets? Getting pretty far down, but no finishes for the Antarctics. They will definitely not be beating the Exoplanets. Looks like it might be a pretty middle-of-the-road score for them. Got most of their teams past most of my task black blocks. Going to be a 120 for the Antarctics, puts them at 7th right now. Crimson Royalty, third last team up. How will they do? Doing pretty well. Can these last two get to the end? Just one will get there. Other one cannot hold it. Those other two marbles falling off quite early on. Looks like this will be a pretty decent score. What will it shake out to? 129. Going to put them in 6th place right now are the Crimson Royalty. Emerald Sprites. This team has been doing quite well in this tournament so far. How are they doing this event? One marble going very far. That's going to get to the end, but the rest did not do very well. Those first two marbles seem to just shoot out much faster. One veered off to the right. That first one, though, got to the end, and that's going to bump their score up to 115. Only 10th place, though, for the Emerald Sprites. Final team, Cardboard Cutouts. This team is currently at the top. How will they do in this event? Doesn't seem to be very well. That lead marble veered off to the left, while the rest veered off to the right. All fell off around the same time, but at different spots, and yes, that's not going to be a very good score. 110 puts them at 12th place, meaning the Exoplanets have won the event with their 158. Fire Opals with 150, getting the silver, and Mossy Mice with the 145 and 2 finishes will get the overall bronze medal. This event has shaken up the standings quite a bit, with the Necroman Knights now up into 3rd place, just above the Emerald Sprites, with the Locust Plag all the way up to 5th, the Grave Eagles falling to 8th. The medal winners, Mossy Mice, Exoplanets, and Fire Opals, are still all the way down there, 11th, 13th, and 14th, Fire Opals, Exoplanets, Mossy Mice. So those teams have not been doing quite well, but hopefully these points will give them a leg up. Next event, we are moving on to the second half of the season, starting off with hurdles, so I will see you then.